Rain drummed against the fogged-up windows of a dimly lit cafe as Marcus sat alone, fingers trembling over his untouched coffee. He hadn't heard her voice in weeks, and now it slithered back into his world, quiet but suffocating. "We just needed to talk," she had said. But there was a catch, a hushed intonation, a softness that made his name hang in the air like a warning. Each syllable dripped with memory, betrayal, and unspoken truths. He remembered the nights when her laughter had been his compass, the sudden coldness that fractured their fragile trust, and now that whisper returned like a phantom, tugging at a part of him he thought he'd bury. Outside, the neon glow reflected on wet pavement, shadows flickering like secrets he wasn't ready to face, while inside, every glance from the scattered patrons felt like an accusation. Marcus's heartbeat sensed with the storm, the past and present colliding in a pulse of fear and desire, leaving him stranded in anticipation, trembling at the thought of what she might reveal, and what she might still be hiding. Marcus unfolded the note with hesitant fingers, its edges damp from condensation, and found a message that made his chest tighten. A time, a place, a single word: remember. Each letter pressed into his memory like a heartbeat he thought he had forgotten. He traced the ink with a trembling fingertip, and visions of what had been. The laughter, the secrets shared, the betrayal, flooded back in vivid, aching clarity. The cafe faded around him as his mind raced, piecing together what she might mean. Why now? And what had changed in her absence? Was this a warning or an invitation? The hum of the neon outside seemed to whisper in tandem with the growing storm in his chest, and the very air felt thick with anticipation and danger. Elena's eyes betrayed nothing as she sat across from him, the faintest quiver in her lips the only confession of her inner turmoil. The cafe's warmth did little to thaw the ice of unspoken words hanging between them. Marcus felt every pause as a drumbeat of inevitability, the silence swelling with unsaid accusations, old wounds brushing against the present. He wanted to speak, to demand answers, but the ghost of their past restrained him, making each heartbeat a hostage to memory and doubt. The bell above the cafe door jingled, startling Marcus, but it was only a delivery boy rushing through the rain. Yet, the interruption fractured the fragile bubble around them, and suddenly the air felt heavier, charged with the unspoken threat that one misstep could unravel everything. Marcus's thoughts spiraled. Did she betray him willingly, or was she herself trapped in an unseen web? Every instinct screamed to flee, yet every fiber of his being urged him to stay and face the truth hiding behind her carefully composed gaze. Elena finally leaned forward, her voice barely above a whisper, yet it carved through the tension like a knife. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but you have to understand." The weight of her words sank into Marcus' chest, igniting a mixture of anger, confusion, and the lingering spark of love he thought dead. Outside, the storm raged, and inside, every heartbeat, every breath, became a countdown to revelation, a delicate balance between confrontation and confession, trust and despair. Marcus's mind raced as he left the cafe, the folded note burning in his pocket. Every step on the rain-slicked pavement. Every step on the rain-slicked pavement echoed the questions that clawed at him. Why now? Why her? Elena's whisper had unmoored him, dragged memories into the stormy night, and made every shadow a threat. He replayed their past, each betrayal, each laughter, and realized he didn't fully know her motives. Was she confessing or manipulating? The city's neon glow blurred around him, each light refracted by raindrops, creating a kaleidoscope of tension. The line between memory and reality dissolved, leaving him stranded in a pulse of uncertainty, desperate to decipher her intentions before the night swallowed him whole. Elena walked briskly through the empty back streets, her emerald trench coat flapping against the wind, heart pounding against her ribs. Every step reminded her of the risk she'd taken, the secrets she carried, and the truth she couldn't yet reveal. She knew Marcus would chase answers, but the danger lurking behind her whispered that some truths could destroy everything. Each neon sign flicker illuminated her conflicted expression, torn between confession and self-preservation. While the rain washed the city streets clean as if trying to erase the sins etched into their past, Marcus finally arrived at the rendezvous point, a deserted rooftop overlooking the city skyline. His breaths came in short, ragged bursts, each echoing in the empty night. He scanned the shadows for her familiar form, heart thrumming with anticipation and fear. Every memory of Elena, the laughter, the betrayal, the whisper of his name, collided with the present. He realized that tonight would decide whether he would uncover a truth worth facing or plunge into an abyss of regret. The city lights flickered below like silent witnesses, indifferent to the storm brewing above. Elena appeared at the rooftop's edge, her silhouette etched against the glowing skyline, every step measured and deliberate. Marcus's chest tightened at the sight of her, and the tension between them felt almost physical. Her emerald trench coat clung to her frame in the rain, and her eyes, alight with a storm of emotion, met his across the distance. She raised a hand, hesitant, almost a plea, as if to bridge the chasm their past had carved. The night held its breath. Every raindrop, every flicker of neon seemed orchestrated for this confrontation. As they closed the distance, words escaped neither of them. Marcus' mind spun with questions, Elena's with fear. The note, the whisper, the years of unspoken truths, all converged in the space between them. Then she spoke, voice breaking under the weight of everything. "I never meant to hurt you, Marcus, but they left me no choice." Time seemed suspended as the rain poured around them, each drop amplifying the tension. He realized the betrayal was larger than just them. The shadows of unseen forces stretched between every whispered name, every remembered laugh, and every secret they had kept hidden. The rooftop felt like a precipice between past and future. Marcus's pulse raced as Elena stepped closer, her gaze flickering with guilt and fear. Every raindrop that splashed against them felt like a drumbeat of inevitability. The note in his pocket seemed to burn against his thigh, a constant reminder that answers could wound as much as they heal. Memories of laughter and shared secrets clashed with the recent betrayal, and Marcus realized he had never truly understood the forces controlling her choices. Tonight, the line between truth and deception blurred, leaving him suspended in uncertainty, forced to confront not only her secrets, but the hidden dangers that now stalked their lives. Elena's voice trembled as she explained the truth she had hidden for months, secrets of manipulation, betrayal, and unseen threats that reached far beyond their own lives. Marcus listened, the rain masking the sound of his heart pounding in his chest. Every revelation felt like a weight, pressing down, twisting his sense of reality. He struggled to reconcile the woman he loved with the decisions she had been forced to make. The city sprawled endlessly below them, a silent witness to their confrontation, indifferent to the storm of emotion crashing between them. Marcus's hands shook as he absorbed every detail, torn between disbelief and understanding. The betrayal wasn't personal. It was survival, a desperate dance with danger he had never seen. He realized that what they were facing could destroy more than their relationship. It could dismantle their very lives. The night storm intensified, wind whipping across the rooftop, rain soaking through their clothes, mirroring the chaos swelling inside Marcus. For the first time, he saw Elena not just as a figure of his past longing, but as someone fighting against unseen forces. A woman whose choices were dictated by peril, not desire. Suddenly, a shadow emerged from the edge of the rooftop, a silent observer who had been following them. Marcus and Elena froze, realizing their vulnerability. The whispers of danger became tangible, threatening to consume them. Every decision, every unspoken secret now carried consequences far larger than they imagined. Marcus's instinct to protect collided with Elena's need for confession, and together they understood the gravity of the web surrounding them. The night grew heavier, each drop of rain magnifying the stakes, while the distant city lights offered no solace, only a reflection of the peril waiting to strike. The shadow moved closer, revealing a man's face, one Marcus vaguely recognized but could not fully place. Elena's body tensed, a silent acknowledgement passing between them that danger had escalated. Marcus clenched his fists, rain dripping from his hair into his eyes, and felt the first real surge of determination to confront the threats looming over both of them. Their fractured trust had been tested, and now survival required them to act as one, despite the wounds that still lingered. The city below pulsed with indifferent neon life as the rooftop became their arena of reckoning, the storm raging as if echoing the turmoil in their hearts. The rooftop air was electric with tension, each raindrop a drumbeat, marking the thin line between life and peril. Marcus's fists tightened, adrenaline coursing through his veins, while Elena's eyes darted to the shadowed figure, calculating each move. The man from the edge of the roof exuded authority and menace, a reminder that their past mistakes had consequences far beyond personal betrayal. Marcus realized that tonight was no longer just about their fractured trust. It was about survival. The wind whipped their clothes and hair, carrying storm's howl, blending with their racing hearts as danger closed in. And the city below, indifferent, pulsed with neon chaos. The stranger spoke, voice low and cutting through the storm. "You shouldn't have come here, Marcus." Each word landed like a threat, igniting the air between them. Marcus felt his blood turn to ice, his mind scrambling to connect the dots. Elena's gaze shifted to him, a mix of apology and determination, silently urging him to trust her despite the fear clawing at his chest. The storm intensified, lightning slicing across the skyline, illuminating the rooftop's tense tableau, a perfect reflection of the collision between past secrets and present danger. Marcus took a tentative step forward, trying to mask fear with controlled anger. "Why are you following us?" he demanded, voice steady but sharp. Elena flinched but remained close, her presence a fragile anchor against the storm. The man's response was cryptic, laced with menace. "Some truths are too dangerous to be exposed." Marcus realized that the stakes were larger than either of them could have imagined. This wasn't just about love or betrayal. It was about secrets powerful enough to destroy lives. Every raindrop, every gust of wind, carried the weight of imminent violence as the rooftop became an arena for confrontation and revelation. Suddenly, the rooftop lights flickered and went out, plunging them into near darkness. The storm roared louder, masking the subtle shuffle of movement behind them. Marcus grabbed Elena's hand instinctively, and together they scanned the rooftop, searching for threats hidden in shadows. Every heartbeat felt magnified, every second stretched into eternity. The realization hit. Survival depended not just on understanding the past but reacting in the present, predicting the moves of an adversary who knew more than they could anticipate. Fear and adrenaline fused into a razor-sharp focus, compelling them to act before the darkness swallowed them completely. A sudden movement in the shadows revealed another figure, silently approaching from the rooftop entrance. Marcus's heart skipped, adrenaline spiking as the storm's fury mirrored the chaos in his chest. Elena's grip tightened on his hand, their shared fear forging a fragile alliance against the unseen threats. Every secret, every betrayal, every whispered name from their past now converged on this rooftop. The storm raged, neon lights fractured in puddles, and Marcus realized they were no longer just fighting personal demons. They were battling a force that had been tracking them all along, and the outcome would determine whether trust love and life itself survived the night. Marcus's heart raced as the new figure emerged from the shadows, revealing a face that struck a jolt of recognition. Someone tied to Elena's hidden past. Rain plastered their hair and clothes as the storm intensified, drumming a relentless rhythm over the rooftop. Elena's eyes widened with apprehension, her fingers tightening around Marcus's. He realized that everything they had endured, the betrayal, the whispered names, the secret notes, had been orchestrated by forces far beyond their comprehension. Each flash of neon illuminated the fear, tension, and fragile trust between them, and Marcus understood the night would demand choices that could shatter everything they thought they knew about each other. The three of them circled each other warily, each movement amplified by the storm's roar. Marcus's mind calculated the possibilities, while Elena's gaze darted between him and the shadowed man, silently pleading for trust. Every unspoken word from the past felt magnified in the night air, and every flicker of neon reflected the precarious balance of danger and revelation. The rooftop, soaked and windswept, became a crucible where their fears, secrets, and instincts collided, forcing them to confront the true stakes of their intertwined lives. Suddenly, the shadowed man lunged toward Marcus with alarming speed, forcing Marcus to react instinctively. Elena screamed, the sound nearly lost amid thunder, and together they moved as one. Each decision was a gamble, a dance with danger that demanded absolute trust. Marcus felt the adrenaline sharpen his senses, the past betrayal and whispered names now transformed into survival instincts. The storm's fury mirrored the chaos of their confrontation, illuminating the rooftop in jagged flashes of lightning as they dodged, countered, and sought leverage against a threat that knew their every weakness. Marcus and Elena managed to force the man back against the edge of the rooftop. Rain cascaded over them, soaking through every layer of clothing, and the wind threatened to knock them off balance. Breathless and dripping, Marcus realized that the danger wasn't merely physical. It was the revelation that the web of secrets surrounding Elena extended far deeper than either of them had imagined. Every whispered name, every hidden truth had been a thread leading to this confrontation, and the storm outside mirrored the turbulence within their hearts. Their survival depended on deciphering both the threat and the woman he thought he knew. The shadowed man finally spoke, voice barely audible over the storm. "You don't understand what you're meddling with." Marcus tightened his grip, refusing to yield, while Elena's eyes glimmered with both fear and determination. For the first time, Marcus realized that the betrayals of the past were only the surface of a much larger danger. Every whispered secret, every lie, had led them to this rooftop showdown, and the night storm seemed to echo the internal turbulence, threatening to consume them both. As lightning illuminated their drenched, determined faces, Marcus and Elena knew the choices they made in these seconds would define not just survival, but the fragile bond still holding them together. Marcus's grip on the shadowed man tightened, his pulse hammering against the storm's roar. Elena's voice quivered as she revealed fragments of a hidden alliance that had been manipulating their lives for months. Each word carved a new fissure in Marcus's trust, forcing him to confront the truth. The betrayal wasn't just her choice. It had been orchestrated by someone closer than they ever imagined. The wind howled around them, and lightning illuminated the drenched cityscape below, reflecting the chaos building in their hearts. Marcus realized that survival depended not on anger, but on understanding the full scope of the deception that had ensnared them both. The shadowed man struggled beneath Marcus's hold, finally sneering. "You think you understand, but you've only scratched the surface." Elena's hands trembled, and Marcus felt the weight of every secret he had unearthed pressing down on him. The rooftop seemed suspended in a liminal space, time stretching as adrenaline sharpened every instinct. He realized that the betrayal he feared most wasn't just about deception between lovers. It was the manipulation of fate itself. The storm's intensity mirrored the turbulence in their minds, highlighting the fragile thread keeping them alive. Marcus and Elena exchanged a fleeting glance, a silent pact forming amid the chaos. Trust, though fragile and battered, had become their weapon. The rooftop trembled under the storm, and lightning briefly revealed the full scope of the city around them. Cold, indifferent, yet alive with reflection. Marcus realized that betrayal was no longer just personal. It was systemic, a chain of secrets designed to manipulate, control, and test them. Elena's whispered name from weeks before returned to him now with bitter resonance, a reminder that survival required both courage and clarity, and the night would demand everything they had. Suddenly, the shadowed man lunged with renewed aggression, revealing a hidden weapon. Marcus reacted instinctively, pulling Elena behind him as the man staggered back. Lightning flashed, illuminating the fear, determination, and raw vulnerability etched into their faces. Every decision became critical, every move a gamble with life hanging in the balance. The rooftop was no longer just a stage for confrontation. It was a crucible of truth and betrayal, where the faintest misstep could destroy everything. And Marcus realized that the ultimate revelation was not yet revealed. The rooftop fell into a tense silence as the storm's fury momentarily abated. Marcus and Elena stood together, drenched and exhausted, realizing that the shadowed man's threats were only part of a much larger betrayal that had been orchestrated for months. Every whispered secret, every hidden note, every name spoken in hushed tones had led to this climactic moment. Marcus understood that tonight they had survived not just a physical confrontation, but the revelation of a network of deception, and the storm above mirrored the emotional tempests within them. Their bond, though fractured, had endured, but the night's revelations promised that the ultimate betrayal was still to come. The storm had reached its apex, wind tearing at Marcus's soaked overcoat and Elena's drenched emerald trench coat as they faced the shadowed man for the final confrontation. Every whispered name from the past, every secret note, every betrayal came rushing back like a tidal wave. Marcus's jaw tightened, eyes locked on the figure who had manipulated them from the shadows, realizing that tonight would decide everything: their lives, their trust, and the fragile bond that had weathered months of deception. Elena gripped his hand, her gaze reflecting fear, remorse, and determination. The rooftop trembled beneath the storm's fury, lightning illuminating the city skyline like a silent jury witnessing their reckoning. Marcus stepped forward, voice steady, despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. It ends tonight. No more games, no more lies. Elena's eyes met his, silently acknowledging the courage he had found, despite the betrayals. The shadowed man smirked, revealing a chilling confidence, but Marcus sensed cracks in his control. Each revelation, each secret, had shifted the balance, and now they could confront not just the man before them, but the hidden network of deceit that had ensnared them. The storm raged, wind and rain whipping around them, highlighting the precariousness of the moment. Elena finally spoke, voice cutting through the storm. "You don't control me anymore, and we're done running." The words were both confession and declaration, echoing with the weight of months of hidden truths. Marcus felt a surge of clarity and solidarity, realizing that the betrayal of the past could no longer dictate their future. The shadowed man hesitated, his authority undermined by their unified stance. Every drop of rain, every flicker of neon light, every gust of wind amplified the stakes, making the rooftop a crucible of truth and defiance. The shadowed man lunged one last time, but Marcus anticipated the movement, blocking and countering with precise force. Elena acted in tandem, their motions fluid and synchronized despite exhaustion and fear. Each strike, each dodge felt like the culmination of every betrayal and revelation they had endured. Lightning flashed, illuminating the wet rooftop. The pounding rain reflecting the intensity of their struggle. For the first time in months, Marcus felt the power of trust restored, forged through shared danger and confrontation, as they fought not just for survival, but for the reclamation of their fractured bond. Finally, the shadowed man collapsed to his knees, defeated and exposed. Marcus and Elena stood side by side, drenched, exhausted, and victorious, the storm slowly subsiding around them. Neon reflections shimmered across puddles, mirroring the turbulent journey that had brought them to this moment. Every whispered name, every betrayal, every secret note had led to this reckoning. Marcus and Elena's bond, though scarred, had endured, forged through adversity and truth. As they looked over the city skyline, rain dripping from hair and clothes, the night seemed to hold a fragile peace, a promise that survival, trust, and perhaps even love could persist beyond the shadows of betrayal.